But let's get stuck into the big story in global football, which is Lionel Messi leaving Barcelona. You may well have tuned into the press conference, which was a little bit weird. Not the fact that he was emotional, but the fact that there were two standing ovations. Nobody was in there, really. It was friends and family and players. It was all a little bit odd. And actually, the whole thing I find a little bit odd. I've been a teeny bit flippant by saying, well, look, it's a player who's left the football club. It is a little bit more than that. But at the end of it all, he's done brilliantly at Barcelona. The time has come, for whatever reason, for him to go. So just go, move on. If you really can't bear playing for anybody else, retire. Or just move on, then go and play for somebody else. Right. I don't get the emotion of it all.
I think, look, when you've been part of a club for as long as he has, I mean, ever since he was a very young lad, he's been at that club and he's grown up there. He's matured into a man there. He's had his family there. His whole life has been around that club, and he has been in his time. He's probably been up there as the best player in the world, if not second best player in the world, pretty much year in, year out.
Joint best, whatever.
So he's got every reason, I think, to be emotional. I do genuinely feel he's got reason to be emotional. My question is, and I've read quite a lot over the last 48 hours about the idea of him staying there and doing it for nothing. Now, at first, I would think no chance, and why should he? After what he's given that club, he's got to stay. But if there's one player from certainly the last 20 odd years, there's one guy that could actually A, afford to do it, B, have the want to do it because of his association with the club that he's leaving. He's been there 20 plus years. There's one guy that could do that. It is actually Lionel Messi. He is the one person, and by doing that, look, he's already their greatest ever player. But I actually think by doing that, he maybe sets up the next chapter in his life. Who knows? He might want to be a football coach. I don't know if he's alluded to that or not. Had he have been prepared to stay at Barcelona, the minute he nods his head and said, I'll do it, it's his. It's his. I'm not saying he don't get it anyway. Of course, he probably will do in time. However, if there's one, I don't think the actual suggestion of him doing it for nothing is that ridiculous, unless there is some legal, unless there is a reason legally that he's not allowed to do that. I can't for the life of me. When I say nothing, they could pay him a pittance.
Go on, Andy. You supported Chelsea growing up, did you?
Yes.
Right. And then played for Chelsea and wanted to leave.
Yes.
So if somebody had said, no, Andy, you supported us, so play for nothing.
But Aid,
really?
I haven't earned £500 million. I didn't earn, and he deserves everything he's got, Lionel Messi. But he could. That's what I'm saying. He could actually, when he stands there so emotional, he looked like a broken man when he was standing there. Poor thing, right at that lectern when he's making the announcement.
Did you say poor thing? I mean, what's going on with this conversation?
No, but he just looked. He didn't intend to go up there and cry his eyes out, but it's just got him. It's just got the moment has just completely got the better of him. So, and he couldn't hide his emotions. He couldn't control his emotions. It happens. So I'm just saying he is probably the only person I can think of that it justifies saying I'll stay and do it for nothing. Cristiano Ronaldo, no, because he's never been anywhere long enough. He's moved and he's had various clubs. The likes of Giggsy and Scholesy and all those amazing players at United in that incredible Sir Alex period, they got to the end of the road. They got to the point where their careers just finished. They were no longer able to be a regular starter. Messi can still do that. So if there's any guy that could do it, he could do it.
Yeah.
He could do it if he was legally allowed to.
I get that. I've been at this radio station longer than he's been at Barcelona. If they say to me, right, we can't afford to pay you anymore, you've got to move on, I ain't going to start crying. I'm definitely not going to offer to do it for nothing.
No.
But and I know he's rich enough, but it's an absurd proposal, surely. When you've got another club where he's potentially going to be playing, it's going to be Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe.
Now that's
possibly
a good reason to want to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the thing I don't get. I mean, it is at the end of it all. Yes, he's a brilliant player. Massive Messi fan. I'm Messi over Ronaldo all day long. That will never be a debate that gets resolved. It's open to opinion. I'm Messi all day long. But at the end of it all, he's done brilliantly at a football club. They've done brilliantly out of him. It's time to go, so just move on. Players leave clubs, it happens.
Yeah, but it's the manner with which he'd agreed a new deal essentially. Then all of a sudden, 3 or 4 days later, he's been told that the legal rules have changed. The club can't support the deal that they put on the table to him. So all of a sudden, it's a completely different mindset, and he now knows he's going. There's something that look. If any player deserved to walk out at the new camp in front of a full house and wave them all goodbye, it's him, and I'm sure he'll do that at some point over the next couple of years. I'd be horrified if they didn't. Whether that's in a PSG shirt against Barcelona in the Champions League, whatever. But I don't think it's such a preposterous idea for a player, someone who's been as successful, someone who is just totally part of the DNA of the club as Lionel Messi is. I don't think it's absolutely outrageous to suggest that he could do it for nothing. And Barcelona as a community, as a city, as everything, he's been so much of a part of that. The money that he generates through commercial activities, I would think, no doubt, because he's been part and parcel of that culture and that city for such a long time. I'm sure there would have been other ways for him to have generated income had he have wanted to do it. I just don't. It's just I think it's an incredibly tall order to ask someone to do something for nothing. Who would do anything for nothing? Very few people. Lots of people do charity work. You know, they give up their time and they give it up willingly, knowing they ain't getting anything for it, which is very admirable.
Everybody else would complain, mate. La Liga clubs would complain. Champions
What can
League.
they complain about?
The fact that Barcelona have got this advantage that they've got this, arguably the greatest player in the world still, for nothing.
Yeah, but he's not.
That's outrageous.
No, but
you can't have that. That's unfair.
It's not unfair, right?
Of course it's unfair. Everybody else is having to pay their players. They're not paying him in your scenario.
Because he'd been there for 21 years, whatever it is. He doesn't want to receive any income, any salary from them. He doesn't need it.
Well,
he just wants to stay and play football for the club.
I think you're unbalancing football in a very unfair way there, and also it's ridiculous because he's being offered some money, we think, to play for PSG.
Oh, he'd be being offered millions.
How they're doing that, I don't know, but there you go. That's another story. It's not by La Liga rules. But I mean, what do you really think that he's meant to say? Hang on a minute, I don't have to cry. I don't have to leave. I can do this for nothing. I can't see it, Andy. Let's get your point of view on it. 08717 223344. It's Drive on talkSPORT. With WeBuyAnyCar.com, hundreds of local branches, usually no more than 15 minutes away, leaving more time to enjoy the football.